I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. And he gave, this guy's British, and he gave the kids what he called a what did he call it? I think he called it a sugar pop, which is what Americans would call a lollipop. I guess that's what he was talking about. All he said was the word. So he said he gave him a sugar pop, and the kid was over there eating it, looking at him. It was an albino black kid who got picked on, of course, in the village. He was the only white black kid there. And I believe he also had the external model of the anus, which is kind of cool if you think about it, because that's unusual. But the reasons that it happens, that's not so cool. We don't want to see the external asshole. It'd be cool if it was optional. I have the external mod. My sphincter is external by choice. I like to carry it around, show it off a little bit, kind of like a penis in the back. But it looks more like a slick willy. That's cool. That's fine. That's my thing. But not if shit. Man, my stomach's all fucked up from the berry, and all my shit's hanging out. My kidneys are in my ear. I don't know what's up. I can't. That's why I don't hear right. I stumble into people. They smack me with their hand, which is actually a knee, and that doesn't make sense either. So not only is my physical world fucked up, but now I'm psychologically fucked up because I just got smacked with a knee that was a hand, and that doesn't make any sense at all. They called it a clubfoot elbow. What is that? How did that happen to me? See, these kids are going through some shit, and I'm not making fun of them. Well, yeah, I am. But that's because, what do we do if we can't? What do you want me to do? Tell you, would you support a child for only $19.95 a month? You could save a kid with an external anus all of the horror of his life and make him better and put his anus back on the inside and move his knee back to his knee and his hand back to his hand and take away the berry. And so it won't be scary for 19. Is that what you want me to do? Because I'm not going to do that. I don't think it's funny. I would give my life for any one of those kids if it could save them. And you're probably thinking, no, you wouldn't, Kevin. Yeah, I actually would. But that's not a practical trade at this point, okay? So anyway, hopefully I get a chance to prove that one day. So what were we talking about? The negative, the annoying things. Okay, let me see if Andrew has responded first. And then what I want to talk about is not just the annoying words, but the annoying actions too. Oh, here you go. Andrew says, I hate the phrase at the end of the day. I didn't mind that phrase, Andrew, but I'll bet I hate it for the same reason you do. Overuse. We get a popular thing and they drive it into the fucking ground. If it was used once in a while, I'd be cool. Oh, okay. Andrew said he was in the Philippines too. I had a Filipino girlfriend, man. I loved that whole family. And the food, forget about it. It was just delicious. And they were so friendly. But they made me sing karaoke. I have not forgiven them for that. I mean, it's just a little thing, like 4 people, but I didn't like it. And they said, oh, you know, they kept telling me, you look like Ben Affleck. You look like Ben Affleck. No, I don't. And I don't sing. So don't do this to me. Okay, I'll sing. If you ever know that you're my hero sandwich. No, I'm not going to sing. I can sing some opera. Yeah, because I got crazy depth and range in that area, but I don't know Italian, so I make up Italian words in the shower. I'll do it for you sometime. I don't mind doing that, because it sounds fucking good. It just doesn't mean anything. There's nothing, I'm not saying anything meaningful with it. I'm just, I'm not really doing it right this second, but yeah, if you heard me, you'd be like, damn, somebody got some classical playing. No, that's Kevin. He's got gas and he's singing opera. He does, because that's the bass. That does the percussion for you. I got a fucking, there must be I'm thinking I have a small animal stuck in my throat tonight. It is definitely not a penis, because I don't do that kind of thing. And then some guys do that. That's their thing. They got the dick and they want it in the mouth. That's what they you know, who knows why. I don't understand gay that much. I don't think about myself as a man. Do you do that? Like maybe it's an ego thing? I don't have an ego. I'm looking outside of myself. That's where I find things interesting. I took some time in my life to get to know myself. I didn't ignore myself. But I'm relatively boring to me. Where I find things interesting and why I hope I'm interesting to you is because I'm bringing you what other people do. And I'm bringing you what other people think. And I'm bringing you, if I can, the definitions of those behaviors and thoughts. What does it mean? What are they doing that for? Where are we going? And before I get too far on that, let's get back to Andrew. The phrase at the end of the day. All right, at the end of the day does have a sense of finality about it, meaning I'm not going to explain how I got from A to B to C to D. I'm going to mention A, talk a little bit about D, and then I'm going to tell you at the end of the day F. And you probably want C, D, and E there first. Like, you did a little leap there using the colloquial trick at the end of the day. I don't dig it. I don't like it. So anyway, my problem with that is overuse. Now, what are people doing in interviews today that's fucking annoying? There are a few things, folks. Some of these have come up in the past 10 years. I thought one was really new, and I watched this book review from like 2002, and they were doing it back then, mostly European folks doing it. And it was saying right in the middle of a sentence in an interrogative form. So you've got your book in front of you, right? And anytime someone says right, I'm going to say no. Because I just want to point out that that's so unnecessary. Are you actually asking me if you're correct about something I can't know about that happened to you? What a waste of a word. Do not put right in the middle of a sentence unless you're actually trying to confirm something you don't know with the people around you, where it would make sense. The other one is I know, right, for the same reasons as stated above. The next one, how about starting a sentence with so? When you have a friend over at your house and you get around a campfire and he goes, so I'm sitting on the beach with this girl today. That makes sense. He's setting a scenario. So can be used to set up a scenario. But so is normally used to say, therefore this. I got kicked in the balls, so I shot the fucker. Okay, that's what so is usually used for. Or, as I said, to set up this kind of romantic scenario. But you can't start every sentence with so. And when people are interviewing you and you start your response with so, that's dismissive to me. What have you done to research this book you're writing? So I'm at the library. What that says to me is like, I didn't hear you, interviewer. This is my time. I'm talking. It seems very disrespectful, and it doesn't make sense, and it seems smug. And it seems a little too cute. Older people should not use so in that way. Once you're over 30, you're done with the cute words. Stop doing the cute stuff. You got to stick. That's how they differentiate. You got to stick to the stuff we know that works. What else is going on with language? The big creepy smile. So, right. And the right thing, some people are saying it 3, 4, 5 times per sentence. Oh my God. I've had to turn off radio interviews, but I listen to a lot of radio interviews from authors and stuff. I've had to turn them off. I just can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I know my tolerance probably should be going up. It's going down for using annoying words. And you know. Now, I have used you know quite often. I have done pretty well at wiping out and from my radio shows. Unless I'm really stumbling on a subject. So what else? There was something else. That's me making a clock ticking sound. What is it that people are saying during their sentences? I know right. Right, they're saying constantly. Oh, I'll get it. I got to get this one out because it's been bothering me. Well, when people are saying right 3 or 4 times, for one thing, that's a sales technique. I don't know if you knew, but it comes from like the old Dale Carnegie book, which references the Socratic method and Socrates and getting people nodding. Got to get them nodding. You tell them things they have to say yes to. You know, like, isn't it a beautiful day today? Yes. Just coming out doing some window shopping today, if you know what that's. Yes. You're getting them nodding. And people like to keep a thing going. So when you hit them with, are you ready to close? Are you ready to make this purchase? You're kind of already in a posture for yes. So just remember, if you're nodding, you're giving head. I came up with that. I made it up. It's my thing. Guy stole it, which is fine. He can. He's the only one that could steal it. Andrew and Guy are the only people that can steal it. If you're nodding, if you're a person who constantly nods when you're around someone, you're giving them head. So just make sure they've earned it is all I'm asking you to do. You'll see it a lot when you have a co-host on a news program, 2 people sitting there, and it's most often the woman doing it, but the men will too. The man's talking and the woman's nod, 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 which is a body language way of saying, first of all, yes, I totally agree with everything you're saying because that's kind of what I'm paid to do here, unless I'm a designated giggle chick, but also it's saying, here's head. Here's head. I'm telling you, you're right about everything. I'm giving you bobblehead head. That's all it is. That's annoying. Don't nod at everything. Make them earn your nod, and then give them the nod. What else? But there's something people are saying during sentences that is really getting under my skin, and I got to think about it. It's not right. It's not so. I've already talked about talking. Christopher Walken talking the way he wants to. I can't do his voice. I used to be able to. Yeah, I just can't. I'm not even going to try it because I'll fuck it up. Oh, if I practice it, I'll try it later. What is this other thing people are saying? Fuck it. I'll come back to it. Don't, Andrew, I know you know what it is. Help me out, brother, in the chat room. It's something people are saying during sentences and interviews. Drive me fucking batty. But, I don't know what it is right now. So let's get on with the philosophy now. I can't remember if I already told you everything we're going to talk about tonight. So that's going to be a weird thing because you might get hit with a surprise. But hey, radio does just such things. So let's make it happen. Here's what I want to do. I want to get you into some of the good stuff. Now I've got 3 philosophy videos here. My favorite philosopher is probably Socrates. I don't have him up here. But probably in my top 5, I would say Descartes it's probably in my top 5 because he was brave enough to walk outside almost voluntarily, I would say voluntarily, of sanity and reason in order to probe. I admire people that will do that because especially before the year 1900, nobody fucked with tradition. You just don't fuck with tradition or you're an immediate outcast. He's like, fuck tradition and fuck everybody else. I'm going to go sit in a goddamn tent and convince myself I don't exist. And anyway, so we're going to hear that from him right now. Let's hear about it.
René Descartes was a 17th century French philosopher who to this day holds the rather lofty privilege of being regarded the father of modern philosophy. In fact, Descartes contributed so much that the French decided just to call it a day and never contribute anything else to society ever again, and they never have. Descartes' work established so many aspects of philosophical and scientific thought that you almost certainly know a lot more about him than you realise. For example, you know about the Cartesian coordinate system. Descartes fucking invented that. He also came up with that little number that you add to things to multiply them by the power of something, along with the laws of refraction and inflection, and let's just say pretty much all of science. Perhaps most importantly, however, Descartes spent his days attempting to set up a framework to establish the most fundamental truths about the universe. He was obsessed with figuring out how to separate what we can know with certainty from all the other bullshit. To achieve this, Descartes established a method of philosophical inquiry known as the methodological skepticism, which meant that he took absolutely everything he thought he knew off the table and then tried to figure out what he could put back on it. Basically, he erased all scientific discoveries since the beginning of the human race like an Etch-a-Sketch drawing. What Descartes discovered was both startling and insanely frustrating.
Think about the balls it took. He said, fuck science, fuck religion, fuck nature, fuck books. Remember when The Matrix first came out? It was a mind-blowing concept. I don't know of anybody else. Maybe there were some sci-fi stories from the 40s or 50s that touched on just such a control thing going on behind the scenes. But it was phenomenal, I thought. The approach, the cinematics, the timing, everything was good with it. Here's what Descartes did. With no prompting, he said, I'm going Matrix. This doesn't exist. And he knew, he wasn't really claiming that. He was simply doing that in a hypothetical, saying, let me see if I can prove it exists. I've got no proof that any of this is real. Throwing it all off of the table, and I'm going to put it back on block by block. And it was frustrating, and it did drive him a little crazy, and he took one for the fucking team. Way to go, Descartes. Let's keep it going.
He couldn't actually prove a fucking thing. What he figured out was that because we experience the world exclusively through our senses, and our senses are fallible, it's actually impossible for us to know anything, and everything you think you know is actually composed entirely of varying levels of belief. Nevertheless, Descartes kept at it, and after a while he finally came up with a single solitary fact that he could unapologetically announce that he knew for certain without any room for even the slightest possibility of doubt, and that was that he existed. Descartes defended this conclusion with the argument that for him to be asking questions about the nature of existence, and there must exist something to actually ask the question, or more simply, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. Around this time, Descartes felt as though he'd swallowed the blue pill and woken up in the Matrix, and he didn't even live long enough to have his mind fucked by Nietzsche. Over the years, he painstakingly managed to add a few other things to his table of certainty.
And seriously, I do need to give myself a pat on the back because I did not pre-screen this clip. And he went the Matrix route too. See how we be doing? See how we be doing? That is what we be doing.
Various axioms of geometry, for example, that a square always has 4 sides, and it doesn't matter how deluded you are, you simply can't deny that. It was via this argument that Descartes ultimately believed that he could prove the existence of God, that in the same way as